So Right to Information Act, as you all know, that it was started, or it was promulgated in 2005. Okay. So this Right to Information Act, to obtain information from the government, right? Why this information? Why this act was passed? Okay, so this is the document, or these are the notes which I have given you, right? Now this is the original act, okay, which is in front of you right now. Okay, this is the original document which is released by the government of India, right? And this was updated, that is amended in 2019. Okay, this Right to Information. Okay, the original act was passed in 2005. Okay, original act was passed in 2005. It was amended in 2019. Okay, amended in 2019 and updated in 2021. Right. So remember these details. Okay. So in this Right to Information, there are 6 chapters. 6 chapters and 2 schedules. Okay, 6 chapter and 2 schedules. So this entire act has been divided into 6 chapters. Each chapter has its own content, right? Each chapter has its own content, and the schedule has some exceptions or some extra information. Okay, so remember this. We'll go chapter by chapter. Okay, we'll go by chapter, and we'll see what is given in this act. Okay, so the Right to Information Act 2005. Okay. So these are the details. This is the date. Okay, the date at which the act was enacted. Okay, the act was enacted 15th June 2005. Right. So an act to provide the setting out of practical regime of right to information for citizens to secure access to information under the control of public authorities in order to promote transparency and accountability in the working of every public authority, the constitution of a Central Information Commission and the State Information Commission, and for matters connected therewith or incident thereto. Okay. Now, different parts, different definitions. These definitions are very large, right? These definitions are very large. I had given you the shorter definitions. I had given you the gist of this entire act. Okay, in my previous class in my previous class on RTI, I had given you the gist of this RTI, this entire RTI act. But okay, whatever. So, whereas the Constitution of India has established a democratic republic, and whereas democracy required an informed citizenry, transparency of information, which are vital to its functioning, and also contain corruption, to hold governments and their instrumentalities accountable to the governed, whatever. ठीक है? So सोडा है सगळं. Okay. What is important is this: enacted by Parliament in the 56th year of Republic of India. Okay, that means when this act was passed, okay, when this act was passed, India was celebrating 56 years of its independence. Okay, not independence, the republic. Okay, 56 years of its republic. Okay, now chapter 1. In the chapter 1, what is given? In chapter 1, title is given, extent and commencement is given. What is the name of this act? Right? What is the name of this act first? Then extent, what area does it cover, and some of the commencements. When this act, how this act will be started or how this act will be commenced, right? So this act may be called as Right to Information Act, right? This act may be called the Right to Information Act. That means right to information. This act, the name of the act shall be Right to Information Act. That's it, right? It extends to whole of India. Okay, it extends to whole of India. So it covers the entire Indian Republic, right? Entire Indian Republic, right? From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, right? Now there are stars. Okay, there are stars. Now, what does it mean? The stars here. Okay, you have to look in the details. Okay, now here there used to be the words except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, except the state of Jammu and Kashmir, but it was previously in the original act. But by the Act of 34 of 2019, okay, the amendment 34, this amendment and the fifth schedule, these words were omitted, right? These words were omitted. Okay, so now previously, okay, previously this act did not cover Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, this act did not cover Jammu and Kashmir, but now it also covers Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, now the provisions of subsection 1 of section 4, section 1 and 2 of section 5, section 12, 13, 14, 13, 15, 16, 24, 27 and 28 come into force at once. That means with the commencement of the act, right? With the commencement of the act, that means at 2015, 15th June 2015, these provisions came into force, right? These provisions came into force, and the remaining provisions, the remaining provisions came into force at the 120th days. So after 120 days. Okay, after 120 days. 120 days means like 4 months, right? After 4 months. Okay. So how many sections? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, only 9 sections. 9 sections came into force immediately, right? 9 sections came into force immediately, and all the remaining sections came into force after 120 days, after 4 months, right? Now, these are some of the definitions which are given here, right? Some of the definitions which are given here, you have to go through it, go through these definitions, right? And find out some things, right? This I have given all these definitions in my notes here. Okay, so this is the definition, informations, whom to ask the information and all, right? So these are the definitions, right? These are the definitions which are given, right? So appropriate government, right? Appropriate government means either it should be the central government, union territory administration, or the state government. Okay, it should be the state government or anything. Okay, anything which is in relation with public authority, which is established, constituted, owned, controlled by, or financed by the central government, union territory administration, or state government. Whatever, okay, whichever thing, okay, whichever thing receives fund, receives, it is constituted, it is controlled by the central government, either by the state government or by the union territories, right? These should be called as appropriate government, right? This should be called as appropriate government. It is not like appropriate government covers only government of India or only government of Maharashtra, right? There can be anything, right? Now, this Central Information Commission means the Central Information Commission constituted under subsection 1 of section 12. What is this? We'll see. Okay, then Central Public Information Officer means the Central Information Officer designated under subsection 1 and includes Central Assistant Public Information Officer designated as under subsection 2 of section 5. Okay, so these are the definitions. Now, the most important part of these definitions, okay, is section 2H. Okay, this is section 2. This is the most important. Okay, section 2H. Now, what is the section 2H? Because this gives you the definition of public authority. Okay, public authority. Now, what is this public authority? Public authority is any body. Okay, is any body or any institution, right? Any body or any institution of self-government. Okay, any body or any institution which is of self-government, which is established by or under constitution. So it should be any constitutional body, right? It should be any constitutional body, just like UPSC, NCSC, NCST, right? This kind of or ECI, Election Commission of India, right? These are the constitutional bodies, right? By or under the constitution, either the constitutional bodies or Government of India, Government of Maharashtra, right? These are the constitutional bodies, right? So these kind of bodies can be called as public authority, right? By or other law made by Parliament, any body which is established by the law which is passed by the Parliament, right? Just like CIC, Central Information Commission, okay, CBI, okay, Central Bureau of Investigation, okay. These kind of bodies, okay, or this Lokpal, okay, Lokpal. These can be also the parliamentary. These are the statutory bodies, right? By any other law made by state legislature, the state government bodies, right? The state government bodies. By notification issued or order made by appropriate government. What is appropriate government? We have seen. Okay, and includes any body owned, control, or substantially financed. Okay, non-government organizations substantially finance NGOs. Okay, directly or indirectly funds provided by the government. Record includes any document, manuscript, and file whichever is received from the government. Right, any record which is received from the government, any document, any manuscript, any file, if it has been received from the Government of India or Government of Maharashtra. Okay, any microfilm, fish, or facsimile copy of a document, any reproduction of images embodied in such microfilm. Okay, so these are the records. Anything which is called as which is written in form or which is in the document form, that is a record. Okay, this portion, okay, this portion इथपर्यंत हा एवढा ठीक आहे. This portion is of much importance to you. Okay, this portion is much importance. Why? Because it defines the public authority. Okay, it defines the public authority, right? Okay, got this. Now remember the chapter number, remember the section, and remember the page number. Okay, remember the page number 4. Okay, now moving to next chapter, chapter number 2. Okay, chapter number 2. So right to information. subject to the provision of this act, all citizens shall have right to information. Everybody has the right to information. You can also file right to RTI. Okay, you can also file an RTI. So go on the RTI portal. Okay, this RTI portal. Go to the RTI portal, file your complaint, pay the fees. Okay, pay the fees of rupees 10, and your complaint will be registered if your complaint is valid. Okay, if it is not like you can ask anything, you cannot ask the uh, like personal information of anybody, right? You cannot ask what is the address of personal secretary of the chief secretary of Maharashtra. Okay, you cannot ask like this. So these kind of informations cannot be asked. Whatever informations are asked, you can ask anything like how many cars were bought for ministers in Maharashtra state in last 1 year. You can ask this information, right? Or why did these this car has been bought, why not that car has been bought. It's like this kind of informations can be asked, right? So every citizen has the right to information. Okay, every citizen has the right to information. Now, what are the obligations to public authorities? Okay, what are the public obligations to the public authorities? Now, these public authorities, should maintain all its records. Okay, I'll give this precise one. These are the obligations to the public authorities. Okay, maintain all its records, duly cataloged and indexed, and computerize them within reasonable time. Right. This is the one obligation. Okay. Maintain all the records should be maintained. Whichever the questions have been asked, what you have answered, whether you have answered the question or not. If answered, then what was the answer? If not, why did not you answer? Right. Then everything should be indexed and computerized, because nowadays everything is computerized. Okay, so computerize them with reasonable time. Okay, then mandatory publishing of basic information, right? So it is not like directory of officers, that means the names of the officers which are working in the organization. Okay, in an organization, say you want to know about who is the name of what is the name of uh, Director General of Police of Maharashtra State, right? The DGP of Maharashtra. So will you file an RTI? Will you file the RTI to know who is the DGP of Maharashtra? No, you cannot, right? Because it is well given on the website of Maharashtra State Police. Okay, so this is the directory. So the directory of officers should be maintained on the website of the department, of any department, right? Then functions performed by them, which officer performs what functions. Okay, then categories of documents held by it, whatever the documents are present there, and all these things. And regular updation, that means whenever an officer changes or this basic information changes, this information should be updated regularly on the website itself, right? Then to provide as much information so motu as to the public, that means majority information should be given by the organization itself, the public authority itself, right? That means it should not, like you should not ask, or you should reduce the number of RTS, right? So majority of the information, just like phone numbers, just like address of the office, then address of the units, if there are units, just like ordnance factory. Okay, if we have the ordnance factory has different units. So all these different units, they should be given, right? They should give their own addresses by their own, right? They should give their addresses and their phone numbers and all these things, right? So it should be given by themselves. Okay, by the office itself, that is suo moto. They should not wait for the people. Okay, they should not wait for the people to be asked these details. Okay, every administrative officer or administrative unit or office to have PIO, public information officer. Now what is this public information officer? Remember the definition. In that definition, the section 2(1)(h), something like that, right? So this public information officer, what will he do? This public information officer will be responsible to receive the information, to receive the question from the public, right? To receive the question from the public, and he will address he will address that question, and he will give the answer to the person or uh, the the public who has asked the question, right? Or to transfer the misdirected request within 5 days from the receipt of the application. If I have given you the application, if I have applied for the information, right? I did not know, right? I did not know where to ask for the for the information, right? So the information was related to foreign affairs. Information was related to foreign affairs, but I have registered the complaint in social justice, right? The the complaint was to the or these information I sought for should be is related to foreign affairs, but I have chosen the Ministry of Social Justice, right? So what will this person or the PIO at social justice will do? This will forward this he will forward the question to this foreign affairs. Okay, it will take 5 days. Okay, it will take 5 days. So this is the obligation of public authorities, that if anything like this happens, okay, if anything like this happens, that means the ministry is wrong or the department is wrong. Uh, these kind of misdirected applications, okay, this kind of misdirected applications should be directed or transferred to the proper channel, okay, to the proper ministry, right? So these are the obligations to the public authorities, right? These are the obligations to the public authorities, and this is given in the chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2, section 4. Okay, remember this, remember this. Chapter 2, section 4, obligations of public authorities. Learn this way, right? Learn this way. It is given on page number 5. Yes, it is given on the page number 5, right? So whatever I have given you, these are nothing but the obligations. This is designation of PIO. Okay, the designation of PIO, Public Information Officer, is what I have given you, right? So these are some of the details. You need not to read the act actually. Okay, need not to read the act completely. Just read the notes which I have given you, and remember in which chapter, which clause or which section what is given. That's it. Okay. So designation of public information officer is given in on page number 6, chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2. Then request for obtaining information. What is the process? Okay, what is the process of obtaining information? This is the process of obtaining information. Make a request in writing or electronic means in English, Hindi, or official language of the area. Right? You can make the request in writing, write it on the paper, or e portals, like nowadays the portals are being used. Okay, so this information can be sought in Hindi, or in English or in any official language of that area. Okay. So whatever, if we are asking the information in Maharashtra, so you can ask the information in Marathi itself. Okay. Now, as per section 6 clause 2, what is 6 clause 2? Let us take the original act. Okay, 6 clause 2. Okay, here. Section 6 clause 2. An applicant making request for information shall not be required to give any reason for requesting the information or any other personal details except those that may be necessary for contacting him. That's it. Right? You need not to give any reason. Okay. You need not to give any reason for any kind of information which has been asked. Okay. If you are asking anything, you are free to ask anything. You need not to give any reason. Okay. So nobody is asking you, why do you need this information? Okay. Nobody is going to ask you, why do you need this information? Okay. So whatever information is needed to you, ask the information and it will be provided. Right. So information is to be provided within 30 days. Okay. The period can be extended to 35 days where request is given to APIO. That means misdirected applications. Okay. This 35 days, for 5 days you need, these authorities need 5 days for redirecting or transferring the misdirected applications, right? Usually the information should be provided within 30 days, or this information should be provided in 48 hours if the life or liberty of any individual is involved. Okay, so this is the process of obtaining information from the right to information. This is disposal of request, that is nothing but in how many days you should get your information. These are the details, you can read them. Now, section 8. This is also important. Exemptions from disclosure of information. Okay. There are several exemptions because you cannot have all the information in this in the government of India. Okay. There are several secrets which are well kept secrets. Okay. Well kept secrets, and those cannot be shared with anybody, not even with the citizens of India. Okay. So which which information is not shared, that is information disclosure of which would prejudicially affect sovereignty and integrity of India, the security, strategic, scientific or economic interest of the state, relation with foreign state, or lead to incitement on or of an offense. These kind of informations cannot be shared. Okay, this kind of information cannot be shared. That means the security information, the strategic information, the scientific or economic interest of the state, right? These kind of informations cannot be shared, right? In relation with the foreign state, whatever foreign state has given us the information, okay, that cannot be shared, or it will lead to incitement of an offense. If a government gives you an information and you can use that information as an as a weapon to create any offense or to create any crime, to commence any crime. Okay, such informations cannot be provided. Information which has been expressly forbidden to be published by any court of law or tribunal, or the disclosure of which may constitute contempt of court. So anything, any information which can cause the contempt of court, that should not be or that must not be given. Okay, or which is forbidden or which is restricted by the court. Okay, information which would cause a breach of privilege of parliament or the state legislature, which is again, if the parliamentary privileges are at the stake, these informations cannot be given. Okay. Information including commercial confidence, trade secrets, or intellectual property, and the disclosure of which would harm the competitive position of third party, unless the competent authority is satisfied that larger public interest warrants the disclosure of such information. Okay, if it is not in the larger public good, okay, unless and until it is in a larger public good, this information cannot be shared. Okay. Information available to a public, it is fiduciary relationship unless the competent authority is satisfied that larger public interest warrants the disclosure of such information. This is what I have given you. Okay, information received in confidence from the foreign government. Foreign government has given you some of the information and you cannot share it with the citizens of India. Okay, so these are the exceptions. These are the exceptions. These kind of informations cannot be asked. Okay, this kind of information cannot be asked. Just like nowadays, G20 meetings are going on, right? The G20 meetings are going on. So in Nagpur, C20 meeting has just done 2 or 3 days back. Okay, so you can ask information that how much money, okay, or what is the amount of money Nagpur Municipal Corporation has spent on decoration, right? How much money Nagpur Municipal Corporation has spent on decoration. But you cannot ask, okay, you cannot ask that what was the uh, what was the intellectual thing which has been discussed in the C20 meeting, right? Because it is a larger, unless and until it is in a larger public good. If it was in a larger public good, the government would have published it at SOMO, right? So these are the things. So this kind of information cannot be asked. Okay. Next. So it is given in chapter number 2. Okay. Chapter number 2, section 8. Okay. Chapter 2, section 8. Is there nothing? Third party information. Nothing. So this is all about the chapter 2. Now chapter 3. Okay. Chapter 3. Now this chapter 3 has Central Information Commission. Okay. The Central Information Commission, whatever the Central Information Commission is, this is given in the chapter 3. Then chapter 4 is of State Information Commission. Okay. I'll give you the gist of this. Don't worry. I'm just telling you the chapter numbers so that you must make a note of it. Okay. Make a note of it. Remember the page numbers as well. Okay. Because what MPSC is doing nowadays is going in the unnecessary details, and they are now asking in which chapter which is given, what is given. So better be prepared with this. Okay. So in the chapter 5, powers and function of information commission, what we'll study side by side. Okay. And in chapter 6, state information, or chapter 6 is for miscellaneous, and we'll see this chapter 6. Okay. Sure. Okay. Central Information Commission. Okay. The Central Information Commission, chapter 3. Okay. This chapter 3. So composition, it composed of CIC, Chief Information Commissioner. Okay. Chief Information Commissioner and Central ICs, that is Information Commissioners, apart from Chief Information Commission. Okay. Apart from CIC, not exceeding 10. That means the maximum should be 10. Right? The maximum should be 10. Minimum should be 0. Or minimum can be 0. What should be? Minimum can be 0. Okay. Minimum can be 0. Maximum should be 10. Appointment by the President on the recommendation of a committee consisting of the Prime Minister. Okay. Prime Minister, who shall be the chairperson of the committee. Okay, obviously, whenever Prime Minister is the part of any committee, he automatically becomes the chairman of it. Okay. Then leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, whomsoever the Lok Sabha, the leader of opposition is in the Lok Sabha, that will be the member of this committee, and union cabinet minister to be nominated by prime minister. So any minister, any random minister will be appointed by the prime minister that come and assist me to to find out this CIC, right? Qualification, the qualification of this Qualification of this is CICs and ICs shall be a person of eminence in public life with wide knowledge and experience in law, science and technology, social service, management, journalism, mass media or administration and governance. So these kind of people, okay, these kind of people should be appointed as Chief Information Commissioner or Information Commissioners. Okay, Chief Information Commissioner or Information Commissioner. Majority these CIC, okay, CIC and IC, these generally are either retired IAS officers or retired judges of High Court or Supreme Court. That's okay. These CIC and IC are generally these people. Okay, these are generally these people. They are either retired IAS officers or retired judges of High Court and Supreme Court. Okay. They shall not be an MP or MLA. They should not be MP, MLA. They should not be MLA in any state. They should not be MP in a parliament or hold any other office of profit or connected with any political party or carrying up any business or pursuing any profession. So they should not be doing anything, right? They should not be doing anything. They will be uh, they will be given the salary by the government itself, right? Conditions of service: tenure should be 3 years. Okay, tenure is 3 years. Retirement age 65 years. They are not eligible for reappointment. Once a person has become the information commissioner, he will not be appointed as information commissioner once again. Okay. Then through RTI Amendment Act, the conditions of service are determined by the central executive. Now these are the old terms of service. Okay, these are the old terms of service. Now tenure is not 3 years. Tenure is decided by the government of India. Okay, retirement age, that is 65 years. Salary is defined by the government of India, right? So this is Central Information Commission. Okay, this is the Central Information Commission. Okay, these are the terms and conditions of the service. Okay, now removal of the okay, removal of this Chief Information Commissioner or Information Commissioner. How to remove this? Subject to the provisions of subsection 3, the CIC or any information commissioner can be removed from his office by order of president on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity after Supreme Court or reference made to it by the president. Okay. So if there is proven misbehavior or incapacity, then and only then the CIC or IC can be removed from his office. Now, what is this proved misbehavior? Nobody knows. Okay, nobody knows. This is done by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will decide that this behavior was misbehavior. Right? This behavior was misbehavior. Okay, so this is not a set definition or proper definition that this behavior of any person can be called a proved misbehavior in office. Okay, so it is not like a central the CIC is smoking, right? CIC is smoking in his office, in his chamber, so it is a misbehavior. For normal public it is a misbehavior, But this is not the ground. This should not be the ground for his removal, right? Just he is smoking in his chamber, which is actually wrong. This should not be done. He is a public officer, and that is a public office. That should not be used for such additive things, right? Such useless thing like smoking. But anyway, if if the CIC is smoking in his chamber, this, even if this is the misbehavior for normal public, this is not a misbehavior in the terms of Supreme Court or in terms of governance, right? So this should not be, or this must not be the misbehavior, or this should not be the ground for removal of CIC or IC, right? So what is this misbehavior will be decided by the Supreme Court itself, right? And on this, on the recommendation of Supreme Court, the president will remove the CIC or IC. Okay. Now, these chapter number 3 was related to Central Information Commission. Okay, was related to Central Information Commission. Now, the chapter 4 is entirely related to the State Information Commission, which is exact replica of that of the Central Information Commission, the CIC and SIC. Okay, CIC has the replica, SIC is actually the replica of CIC. Okay, so State Information Commission constitution is exactly the same. Okay, nothing different, right? Just here, this is on the state level, that was on the central government level. Okay. Now coming to the chapter number 6, which is actually important. Okay, the miscellaneous, some of the things, and even in this, okay, even in this chapter, section 24 is the most important thing. Okay, this section 24 is most important thing. Why is it so? Because this gives you the act not to apply in certain organizations, even if they are covered under public authorities. Okay, they are covered under the definition or under the purview of the public authority. They are public authorities, but they are not covered under this act. Okay, so nothing contained in this act shall apply to the intelligence and security organizations. Okay, intelligence and security organizations specified in the second schedule. There is a second schedule in which the names of these organizations are given. Okay, which organizations are exempted from this act? You cannot ask any information, any information from this organization. Okay, being organized, established by the central government, or any information furnished furnished by the organization of that government. Okay. So what are these? What are these? These are given here in the second schedule. So this is the first schedule. Okay, this is the first schedule basically. Okay, so in this first schedule, the form is given. Okay, the form is given. The oath. Okay, the oath which will be taken by the Central Information Commissioner. Okay, the oath of the Central Information Commissioner or State Information Commissioner, which will be taken. So it is in the first schedule. Very important for you to remember. The oath of CIC, IC, or SIC is covered under what, right? So MPSC can ask you this and this second schedule. Okay, the second schedule of this act, the second schedule of this act gives you, okay, the second schedule of this act gives you the list of organizations, okay, list of organizations which is established by the central government, okay, which are actually exempted under the RTI Act. What are those? Intelligence Bureau, that is IB, then RAW, all the wings. Okay, then DRI, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. Okay, this was asked in the recent examination. Okay, then Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, then Directorate of Enforcement, ED, which is right now very much famous name. Okay, Narcotics Bureau, then Special Frontier Force. What is this? 7 star. Hmm. Nine, which is ninth one was omitted. Okay, whatever it was. This is seventh one is omitted. Then Special Frontier Force, then BSF, Border Security Force, then CRPF, ITBP, CISF, NSG, Assam Rifles, SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal, uh, DGI, National Technical Research, NTRO, FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit, Special Protection Group, SPG, okay, DRDO, Border Road Development, BRD, okay, then National Security Council Secretariat, CBI, then NIA, National Intelligence Grid, Strategic Force, right? These are the things, these are the informations, okay, these are the organizations in this list, okay. You cannot ask any information, you cannot ask any information from these organizations, okay, even if this information is related to you, okay, or you want the information very much die hard, but still you cannot ask any information from this organizations. So these organizations are exempted from the RTI. Okay, so this is it all about the RTI. So what you need to remember first,